So I've just pressed record on my first podcast episode ever. My name's Callum Dre. I've done a lot of different things. I have done Instagram videos. I've done YouTube videos, TikTok. I've done PDFs. I've written blogs. I have done a handful of social media things, and they're all fucking difficult. And yes, that's the first swear word of the podcast. It will have swear words in it. It's just me. I'm trying to keep this as natural as possible. And if the quality's terrible, I apologise. I've got my microphone attached to the top of my PlayStation, because it is a pain in the arse when it's attached to your t-shirt because it can get swiped around. So hopefully it sounds good. But yeah, as I said, my name's Callum Dre. Originally a strength and conditioning coach, turned into a personal trainer, now into an online personal training coach, or an online fat loss coach. I actually call myself. That's what I specialise in, help people lose body fat, but do it in a certain way. And I'll talk more about that later. But strength and conditioning coach basically means performance-based coaching. Essentially, I was lucky enough to work with Olympic and Paralympic athletes, ones that did actually win gold medals and silver medals as well. So got some good experience there. I have also coached for a year and a half in a small group personal training gym. So I'm very adept at working with people in terms of face-to-face coaching as well. But I've also been an online coach twice now. This is my second run at it because I stopped during my uni days. So that's a bit of background. That's the boring stuff. What actually makes me a bit unique? No. I have a big ass set of hair. Everyone knows me for it. People seem to love it. I find it the most annoying fucking thing in the world because you have to use about 50,000 products to keep it in sort of shape. It's the same with your skin. So I look after myself, I guess. I love heavy metal music, rock, heavy metal, metalcore. You wouldn't look at me and think that, but I love anything when they're shouting, screaming, and heavy guitars and drums, basically. The best band in the world for me is Slipknot. Best gig I went to just before COVID, actually. I think it was the month before COVID actually hit. I was buzzing about that. That was one of the best things I ever did. I'm a daddy to a boy named Roman. He is the love of my life. I didn't believe that actually was a thing until you were a parent. And then actually it is a thing. It actually hits you a lot harder. I've just dropped him off today to his mum. I don't see him for another week. And yeah, I already miss him. But I'm a daddy as well. I used to be a kickboxer for a few years. Terrible at it, if I'm honest. Got my head beaten up more than I need, so I stopped. I love training jiu-jitsu. I haven't trained in a wee while though, just because of time commitments, but that's something we'll get back to. Go figure, none of us have time. But yeah, so it's just a small introduction to me. And no, pineapple does not belong on pizza. Those who've seen my Instagram story will know what I'm on about there. So basically, I want to create this podcast as a way of kind of expanding on my Instagram and my TikTok content. So because the algorithm obviously only prioritizes like under 30-second videos, and you can only get so much quality in those. So you can't really talk around subjects. So I've talked around some of these points before, but again, only in 30-second stints. So I'm hoping this will help a lot of people that they can just listen to while they're driving to work, while they're going for a walk. Some of you are already sick of my voice, so you'll probably be like, for fuck's sake, why do I need to listen to you again? But the aim in the future actually is to not do this solo. So I'm actually quite good at talking to myself. I used to do YouTube videos, and you have to be really fucking good at talking to the camera on your own in YouTube videos. So I'm hoping that in the future, people I've worked with, be it face-to-face or online, would love to be a guest on here, because I'd love to do like a bit of a Q&A. And on the topic of Q&A, I'm going to try and figure out how to put a link in the description, the show notes, whatever they're called, or I'll even just put it in my Instagram or something like that. Asking for questions basically for the next podcast, because I want to do like a Q&A where I can answer several questions, in like a half-hour period or something. Because again, I want this podcast to be based around you guys. I don't want it to just be me rambling on, because that's my favourite thing to do, as people already know. Again, if you know me well, you've probably told me to shut up at least once. So hopefully, yes. So yeah, I want it to be based around you guys. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can get some questions added on. But to prove you're listening, I've got a little offer. So for anyone who's listening to this and shares a screenshot of this podcast, tags me in it and puts it on their Instagram, their Facebook, whatever, I'll send you a little prize your way. I'll send you a little reward. And that's just a way of saying thank you. If you do enjoy the podcast, rate it however you can. I know the cliche things ask for 5 stars. I don't think I'm worth 5 stars, but you know what? Give me whatever you think. Give me a thumbs up. I'm sure it'll help out any sort of podcast algorithms. So basically, let's get on with what I want to talk about today. So I've already done, that's 5 minutes. That's not bad for an intro. What I want to talk about today is 3 different ways that you can lose body fat, or you can lose weight, lose body fat, whatever you want to do, without tracking your calories. Because a lot of people, when they first start, aren't actually in a place to track calories. They don't have the education or the skill set yet. And that's not to say you're stupid. No, I'm not saying that. But it's like learning to drive. You have to learn to drive first. And then once you've got your license, or once you've had your few coaching sessions, then you go off into the real world, try things out yourself, and then you realize how fucking difficult it can be. And everything's a learning lesson. So ways of improving your diet, losing weight, losing body fat, being more confident, less stressed, without counting calories. Again, counting calories is probably the best method of doing things. Again, the more things you track, the more accurate the results and the more bigger the results are going to be. However, things like this are a great way to get into better eating habits, whether it's including more fruit and veg, whether it's getting more protein in, whether anything like that. So starting off with one I posted on Instagram quite recently, the plate method. This is actually a twofold method. The plate method is quite simple. The first one is actually the composition of your plate, so what's actually on your plate. So if you've got a big circle, think of it this way, you're going to cut that plate straight in half. Say you've got like a roast dinner, for example, really simple. I want you to load up half your plates with broccoli, carrots, peas, cauliflower, all those sorts of things. They're the things I want you to put on your plate first. Half of that, cover it in gravy if you want to, obviously just don't be too wild with that, but cover that up first, all right? Cover that half of your plate. Then I want you to get your chicken, your pork, your beef, whatever's on your Sunday dinner, and I want to put that as the next quarter of the plate. So again, a good healthy portion of that. So again, where it's meat on the bone, where it's just meat cut in slices, whatever it is, again, put that the next quarter of the plate. And then your final quarter, and this is what surprised a lot of people, the next quarter of your plate is your carbohydrates. So that will be things like your stuffing, that will be things like your potatoes, be it mashed or roasted. It doesn't leave a lot on your plate. And when you're not tracking calories, you need to be harsh like this in a way. But at the same time, you'll also probably be fuller if you eat your veggies and eat your protein first and then get to your potatoes at the end. I know people eat their roast dinners, but topic for debate. Let me know what you think about that. There's a certain way to eat a roast dinner. I, as a kid, always did it in this way, and apparently I'm wrong for doing this. I always learned that if you have a roast dinner, you're meant to eat your meat first, then go on your potatoes and then your veggies. And my argument was, well, the meat's the nicest thing. I'll have it while it's hottest and while it's more enjoyable. Potatoes next, and then the veggies last because I can just wolf those down. I didn't mind. I like my veggies, to be fair. But the argument for me was like, they'll eat their veggies first because it's the worst part, and then they'll finish with the things they like their meat and their potatoes. And I was like, okay, I get that, but also then my meat and my potatoes are cold by the time I get to it. So I don't know. I don't know if that's actually, I don't know. You tell me, let me know in the comments, let me know, Instagram, DM me, send me a little message, whatever, your opinion on that, because I reckon that's going to be a good debate. So yeah, basically, half your plate be veggies, and get creative with it. Again, if you only like certain types of veggies, stick to them. So if you're only a fan of carrots and sweet corn, go fucking wild with carrots and sweet corn. Don't be giving yourself kale if you don't like kale. Like, that's not what I'm getting on at here. Lean into the things you like and use them regularly. That's the best thing I can give you. The other way of playing around with this is actually the size of your plate. So I know everyone's nan has like 50,000 plates, and some of them are larger than others. You don't have to use the biggest plate. Use those plates that are slightly domed as well. Do you know they've got like sides that come up? Because I know we all try and stack a bit, but when they're completely flat and you can get all the way to the brim of the plate, you can get more food in your plate. If you get more food in your plate, you can ingest more calories. So if you have a slightly angled plate, which kind of restricts your ability to get food in the plate, and please don't stack. Like, you're going beyond my point. I know I can stack, but think of using that angled plate because it limits the amount you can get on there. And maybe even think about using a smaller circumference one. I remember there's a psychology study that actually said about like using a smaller plate actually led people to be taking less food overall and therefore ingesting more less calories, and it actually helped with their weight loss. So psychology is a big thing here. So build your plate differently and consider using a different size plate. And also let me know which is the correct way to eat a roast dinner. I don't actually eat roast dinners that much, so my opinion is probably invalid. Moving on, the next one is actually a method I stole from a lady called Emma Story Gordon. I saw her at Perform X. She taught us a lot how to make a fitness business, basically. Very brilliant woman. I actually follow her ESG Fitness, I think it's called, and her AFM, so that's AF Mentors. And brilliant woman, really inspirational. Does not stop. Absolute machine of a woman. She coined this method, the 3-in-1 method, and I like this one because this is actually something I do without meaning to do it, but I know it works. So the 3-in-1 method basically means you have 3 meals that you keep the same. every single day. So say you eat, let's basically assume you eat 4 meals. Obviously you can eat more, but you eat 4 meals a day, and 3 of them stay the same. 1 of them changes, hence 3 and 1. The 3 that stay the same. So for example, a lot of people don't really eat too much. Breakfast is actually far less common than people realise, but I still encourage people to get a shake in, a small yogurt, a protein yogurt in, a juice, whatever it is, just something to hit your target of protein. But you don't have to eat if you don't want to. People keep their breakfast the same. Try and keep your lunch the same. This one's quite a good one because a lot of people are out of offices and stuff like that. And if you bring like a simple packed lunch that just ticks your boxes, whether it be a sandwich, whether it be a salad, whatever it is, it just keeps it simple. It's less stressful. You don't have to run around to the shops and everything like that. Yes, it requires some prep. You can always do like a pre-planned lunch that you buy out. I always say, like, I know my low-calorie meal deal from Tesco's, but I also know my high-calorie post-training meal deal from Tesco's. That's another way of going around it. But again, I keep those meals the same, and then I keep my snack the same. So for some people, their snack might be those refrigerated chicken bites. They might be that yogurt that they didn't have earlier. It might be a Skinny Whip bar. If they want a Skinny Whip bar, it might be a protein bar. It might be anything like that, essentially. And I recommend people change their dinner because dinner is the one that people, you always ask each other, what do you want for dinner? That's the one you always ask. And 2, it's the one that it helps people get a bit of variety. And I know it's at the end of the day, but it's the one that people tend to experiment more with. Like, people aren't creative for their breakfast and their lunches. You could argue that actually being creative at your dinner is probably your downfall. But look, if you've got 4 to 5 dishes of dinner that you rotate through every week or every couple of weeks, it still kind of keeps that simplicity. You don't have to overthink things, but you can still change it. So basically, by keeping 3 of those meals the same, what you're doing is you know the calories worth of them. So if I'm trying to keep low calorie, I know that if I eat my overnight oats, it's got 20 grams protein and it's 300 calories, boom, off I go. I know if I have my protein yogurt, that's about 150 calories, 20 grams of protein. And then say my lunch is 300 to 500 calories, again, 20 to 30 grams of protein. So in that period, let's say at worst, I've consumed 800 to 900 calories and I've hit at least, 60 grams of protein, right? That leaves me with, say I'm a 1500 calorie person, that still leaves me with 600 to 700 calories for dinner and to get more protein in for 30 to 40 grams to hit that 100 grams mark. Most people will have more protein at dinner as well, so they'll probably hit the 100 mark easily because they tend to have lots of chicken, lots of beef, pork, whatever you need. So basically, it just keeps your calories in check because you know these things are easy to control because then you have less thinking, less decisions to make. And that's the thing, decision fatigue is an actual thing. So the more decisions you make across the day, the less energy you have for making decisions. It sounds stupid, but it makes sense when you think about it. Like, again, get to the end of the day, what do you want for dinner? Oh, why did you ask me that? Like, I can tell you the number of fights me and my partner will have over what do you want for dinner. It's the fucking bane of our lives. It's just sick. I have an argument with myself, like when I'm going to fucking Lidl every week. I'm like, I don't want to eat this. I don't want to cook. Like last week, I changed my dinners for the first time in a wee while, and I was like, thank fuck for that. But I was also like, I've got to do this again next week. Think about what I want again. And I'm going shopping tomorrow morning, and I'm already sickened at the idea of thinking about it. But yeah, 3 and 1. So keep 3 things the same and change 1 thing. You don't have to do breakfast, lunch, and your snack as the same. You just pick 1 meal out of all of those 4 to change. And again, it's not just saying you can only eat 4 things. You might want an extra snack. But again, keep it low calorie, keep it consistent. Don't reinvent the wheel, basically. Last method, again, I don't want to spend too much time today because I appreciate this is my first one and I don't want to chat too much people's ears off because I want to answer more of your questions at some stage. This is a simple method and it requires a bit of pre-purchasing, I guess, like a bit of pre-planning. The fruit and veg method. The fruit and veg method. It's not as revolutionary or as interesting as it seems, but it's very simple. Something at each meal has to be a fruit or a vegetable. And you can eat as much fruit and vegetables at each meal that you like. It's really fucking hard to overeat on vegetables and fruit. Do they have calories? Absolutely, they fucking do. Did anyone ever get fat from eating fruit and veg? No, they did not. No one turned around to me and said, I gained weight and I became really unhappy with myself because I overate the apples or I overate too much cabbage. No one has ever said that. It's because they had a pack of biscuits every night. It's because they had a pint of ice cream every night. It's because they had the biscuits, the popcorn, and the chocolate at the cinema. Do you know what I mean? It's those behaviours, the easy to overeat things. Or it's the McDonald's, where you double meal it and go for yourself and you've had 2,500 calories without meaning to. Sorry if I've just attacked you there, but I do the same sometimes. But every meal, throw some fruit and veg in. So I used to do a protein porridge. I would throw, if you don't do this, by the way, please do it. So I used to do protein porridge. Again, make your porridge as normal, throw your protein scoop in, mix it in. I mix it in a wee bit at a time, by the way, like half a scoop and half a scoop. It mixes in far better. Add a tiny bit more milk at the end, or fluid, whatever you're using. And then I never actually heat them up. Some people do heat them up, but I used to use frozen mixed berries or some frozen summer fruits. And then I would just chuck them in my porridge and they would just melt and all the juices come out. But you can also put them in a bowl, nuke them for like 30 seconds, so they release all their juices, and then you throw them back in your porridge, and they kind of make it really like wet and moist. Oh, they're two disgusting words, by the way, but but they just make it really like juicy and tasty. If it's a bit sour, if you like, and add a squeeze of honey over the top of it, whatever you want. But again, that was a simple thing I used to do. For your snack, have an apple and a protein bar. Have an apple and a yogurt. Something like that. At lunch, incorporate some salad into your sandwich. So some lettuce and tomatoes, some cucumber with that light mayo. Salad in itself, we're going to get creative. Salads you can get really smart with, by the way. Like lettuce and tomatoes are boring salad. Do not be fucking doing that. Get peppers in there. Grated carrot and a salad. Unreal. I like throwing sweet corn and stuff in them as well. Avocado in a salad as well. Don't be careful with that. Don't go too much on that because they are quite high in calories. It's really good fat to you, but it's high in calories. But again, get out of the box of boring salads. I'm telling you, if you look up for an interesting salad, it tends to be made by the sauce and then look more vinaigrettes than thick, creamy sauces. But it's also by the way you put the vegetables in. If you just put wet lettuce and wet tomatoes, it's going to taste fucking boring. You need to change it somehow. But yes, and then obviously dinner. If you have like a pasta. So like for example, say you've just bought a ready meal from Tesco's, just a basic chicken arrabbiata, really good one by the way. Why don't you just buy a pre-prep salad as well? Edamame beans, grated carrots, and crunchy leaves and stuff like that to go on the side. So you can put the two and two together, and it fills you up quicker, and it fills you up more for a longer period of time. Don't just throw your chicken, your spuds on the plate. Get the veggies on the side. And if you don't want the veggies because you're not a big vegetable person, I know not everyone's a vegetable person. Sometimes we do need to be grown ups though. have some fruit afterwards. Do you know what I mean? And a really easy set of fruit to have, and these are ones I want you to note down if they're important to you. Really good fruit to have because they're high in water content. Things like watermelon and melon in general. They're really low calorie because they're pretty much all water, but they're also really filling because of the fucking size of them. I mean, have you seen the size of a watermelon? The other fruit to go for is those that are high in fiber. So raspberries are shit ton of fiber. There's like 6 grams of them per 100 grams. I know 100 grams of raspberries is a fuckload, but imagine if you eat that and get the calories of that, I'd tell me you ain't full after that. Mango's also good, 5 to 6 grams, I think it is, roughly around, for a mango. Apples, 2 grams fiber for each apple. Apples are brilliant, really low calorie. Again, it takes time to eat, which is really good for slowing down your digestion. Again, fills you up more. They're tasty as well. You can get different types of apples, can't you? Some are more sour, some are more sweet. So, yeah, overloading the fruit and the veg. It's a really, really simple method. So none of these are groundbreaking. Like I said, we've got the plate method, change the size and how you build your plate. The 3-in-1 method, keep 3 meals the same, change 1 meal every day. And the fruit and veg method, where you add fruit and veg to every single meal. And notice how it's actually about adding stuff in a lot of the time. It's not about you need to get rid of this, you need to get rid of that, you need to get rid of that. No, it's add this to your plate, add this to your plate, add this. Because when you add things that fill you up or are more dense, so fruit, vegetables, water consumption, stuff like that, and you take away decisions, fat loss becomes easier. And fat loss is not the ability, people don't struggle with fat loss because they don't know what to do half the time. It's because they struggle because it takes a lot of fucking effort. So if you reduce the fucking effort it takes, you're going to lose more fat 9 times out of 10. So I've been chatting for about 19 minutes. I don't know if this podcast could be 19 minutes by this point, but again, I just wanted to kind of touch base on these ideas and hopefully give you something to go away with. So again, I'm just going to mention a few things I mentioned at the beginning. If you want to leave a review, I'd really appreciate it. Again, honestly, if you can give me 5 stars, it'd be fucking fantastic. If you take a screenshot of this and share it in your story and tag me, Kate at KD Everyday Elite on Instagram, there'll be a little special thing coming your way. And like I said, if I could figure out how to get this questions thing done in the show notes or on Instagram, DM me, whatever, ask me questions. What do you want to know more about, specifically around fat loss? Whether it be food strategies, whether it be training sessions, whether it be psychology tips, mindset tips, whatever it is around fat loss. What can I help you with? Because that's what I want. And then also, if you want to be a guest, I would love to sit here and talk with someone, by the way. You can do this remotely with me. You can come sit down and have a coffee with me. My house ain't very big, but it's got a nice comfy seat and it's got a coffee machine and cup of tea. I have PG tips, so don't judge me. My dad bought them. But yeah, so like, if you want to be a guest, again, drop me a message, let me know, because I want to organise ones where it interacts with my community. Really, really important to me. So thank you very much. If you have tuned in, I record this on a Friday evening. What else would you fucking do on a Friday evening? It's really weird. I'm just talking at my PlayStation now I think about it. But guys, for now, until next week, or until when I next record it, because I don't know. Again, I don't want to film just shit. Have a good rest of the week, and I'll speak to you soon.